Hello everyone! Welcome back to another free-for-all. I'm going to be bringing the High Elves. My opponents today are going to be the Lizardmen, the Dark Elves, and the Skaven. We have all four races here. For my army, the idea for this one is going to be a small, compact, very elite build. So that means we're going to have three of these Sword Masters of Hoeth. We have one Phoenix Guard being led by Tyrion, which I don't think Have I brought Tyrion yet? I don't think I have. Tyrion has awesome stats even off the horse, though he doesn't really have a focus versus armor piercing. His weapon strength is still very high. You can go down the line here. Brought the item of Sunfang, which is a breath weapon, does a lot of damage. He also has this ability that he can get with Feint and Riposte, which grants physical resistance, melee attack, and melee defense, which I think is really good. And just, I mean, his stats are already amazing. He basically becomes like untouchable when this is also active. On top of that, we have Stand Your Ground, which is just kind of normal. He also can come with the Heart of Avalorn, which you have to pay for. Grants him constant regeneration if his hit points are below 10%. So it's just kind of like a last burst save your life type thing. Martial Prowess, which all of the other, units come with, and then just basic stuff. Yeah, you can see here, his stats are amazing. Armor of 125, his leadership is through the roof, his melee attack and defense is also great. Behind him, we have two bodyguards with these two nobles. The nobles focus on an anti-large armor piercing. I'm trying to get the stats. Gosh darn it. Noble, there we go. With decent melee stats, really good melee defense, and like I said, they're just focused versus large. So I brought these two because I wanted to try and fight against the Lizardman player, which I knew was going to be in here, because Lizardmen usually go heavy on large armored creatures because they have very cheap dinos, which are great, and including Krokar. Also, a reason why I didn't bring any of these heroes on their horses, which they could all be riding horses right now, is because Krokar is exceptionally good at killing anybody that's considered large. And if you put them on a horse, they are then considered large. That means Krokar would get his bonus and have a easier time of killing these three. Whereas right now, we kind of have a better time of killing him if they don't get sent flying by Krokar's attacks, which can happen because they're on foot. So yeah, that's going to be Tyrion and his two bodyguards. A very deadly trio there. But that's not all. We also have a Lore Master of Hoeth buried in here with the Swords of Hoeth. And the spells I brought are going to be Earth Blood and then Harmonic Convergence. On top of that, I also got the Blessed Tome, which grants leadership in a small area around him. We also have the Lore Master Cloak, which will grant magic resistance around him. He comes with Evasion, which has been kind of upgraded since the first game, and all the other stuff. Also, one thing I did forget to mention is that the nobles do come with Deadly Onslaught, Foe Seeker, and then I also gave them this Sacred Incense, because I was trying to stack up auras. The whole thing about this build is that it's very small. It's going to be a compact build that relies on the healing and the aura stacking of all of the heroes to try and help negate some magic damage, which is very strong against this build because it's very small and compact, and Vortex spells are really good now, for the most part, as our breath weapons. So that's why I bring the Lore Master Hoeth with this very small build, because he grants magic resistance and aura around him, and it's going to be a very small, compact fight. He also gets that Earth Blood, which is really good in a small, compact fight. And then we have this one, which grants us additional missile resistance. On top of that, I think they do come with one other item. I don't think I brought it, though. What is... Oh, it's a stalk item. Like the rats have, they have a super stalk item that they can also bring, but I didn't bring that because I didn't think I would really need it. Then flying above them to assist in this build is going to be the Flamespire Phoenix, which is a pretty cool unit. I must say, pretty cheap and does a lot of damage. If I can just get it on the unicard here. It just keeps wanting to look at Tyrion. There we go. So the Flamespire Phoenix. All right. So it comes with 10 charges of this Wake of Fire, which is basically just like the Gyrocopter Bombers, just like the Pterodon Riders. You just drop this, and it drops a bunch of fire below it, and it acts as an explosion. Its melee stats are okay for a flying creature. It is armor-piercing focus. Pretty low armor, but look at that speed. 120. There's like nothing that's going to be able to outrun the Flamespire Phoenix. So if you see a Lord trying to run away, you can just stick this on them, and they can't escape. On top of that, they have a really good charge bonus and the rebirth ability. So when their hit points are below 10%, they have a chance of rebirth, and rebirth will put their hit points back up. I don't know if it's to full, but it will drastically get their hit points way back up, kind of like the Hydra's regeneration proc that can happen. It doesn't always happen though. It's like right there, it says miscast chance 50-50. So when you drop below 10%, there's a 50-50 chance that you could, I assume it's 50-50 chance. I don't know if it's lower than that. But it's going to proc and you get all your health back, or you won't, and you'll probably die. Still a pretty cool unit, and the reason why I brought this one and not the other one is because of the bombs that it drops, the 10 charges. Again, since this is going to be a small fighting area, I want the enemy to try and come all around me, and then I can just like drop bombs around the edges. So that is the idea around my very tightly kind of Healy blob or stacking, very strong hero build. I don't know what the hell to call it. That's a very long name. I have to look for a name for that. Yeah, so I'm going to be facing off against the Lizardmen here, who brought a front line of 3 Temple Guards, which are the very durable halberd infantry, as you can see there with the shields. Behind them, we have 3 Bastillodons. I was expecting at least 3. We have 2 with the Solar Engine, and then 1 with the Revivification Crystal. The thing is, like, these things are so cheap. Like, even the Ferals, which are just fine, are, I think, like, $750? Maybe a little more expensive, but they're so cheap for what you get, so you can probably always expect there to be at least a Bastillodon on the field. In this case, we have 3 of them. Behind those, we have 2 groups of the Horned ones, which are the most expensive cav that the Lizards have. You can see there that they have really great armor, they have really great leadership, pretty good melee stats for a cav, decent charge bonus. They're not necessarily a shock cav, but they're mostly like a melee cav, although their melee defense is kind of low, but they do a lot of damage. The drawback is they can rampage, and also they only have 36 units to their size, to their model count, and I believe most, if not all, cav on large size should be 45. I don't think we have any other cav here, but I'm like 100% sure that should be 45. I don't know why they only get 36. I think that's a little weird. But we have 2 of those horned ones right there, and then their leadership is not Krokar. It's going to be a Saurus Old Blood on our Carnosaur, which is still a great focus towards killing large creatures. You can see their melee stats are not as great. They also don't have access to the Hand of God, which is the missile spell that Krokar has. But they do have access to the Horn of Kygor, which can do an 18-second buff around them, I believe, or is it map wide? Around them. Charge bonus, melee attack, and leadership, which is nothing to snoff at. Snoff even a word? I don't know, I made it up right now. It also comes with Stand Your Ground, Amulet of Itzel, which can give them a 21-second buff of 66 damage resistance, but it is only a one-time cast, so you gotta be careful when you use it. On top of that, they get Cold-Blooded, just like all other Lizard leaders do. Frenzy, Immune Psychology, Fear and Terror, and so on and so forth. Not a bad unit at all. Krokar is obviously a little stronger, but is also more expensive, so that is their army. I think that's all they got. Yeah, so it's kind of like a small elite army versus another small elite army. And then over here, we have the Dark Elves that are going to be facing off against the Skaven Horde. So the Dark Elves have a front line of all Dread Spears. Again, that's the basic, pretty beefy, or not beefy, but melee defense high spear unit of the Dark Elves. In front of them, you can see that the War Hydra is on the field with its crazy regeneration properties, and it just looks really cool. And always reminds me of Dark Souls 1, because there was a Hydra boss in that game. Shout outs to Dark Souls 1, that's a really good game. Since we're up here, leadership right now is going to be the female Dreadlord, so the sword and shield version riding on a dragon, which, since the dragons all have breath weapons now, like, dragons are really worth it. You kind of hardly ever saw them in Warhammer 1. I think when Mortal Empires hits, which I can't wait for, you're going to be seeing a lot more dragon usage out of the vampires, the chaos, and I wonder if the wyvern for the greenskins will get a breath weapon. It's technically not a dragon. Huh, I'm curious if it will. I'm curious about a lot of things when Mortal Empires hits to see what kind of changes they have done to the old races, if any. I hope they did, but anyway. Below that, our other leadership is going to be a death hag on the mount of theirs, which I think you're probably going to be seeing a death hag on a mount almost every time, because why not? It's such a great mount to have that can grant the rage ability. Oh, I just noticed, is that like a Dark Elf holding? Well, not a real Dark Elf, but like, look at this architecture. Well, okay, don't get too close. The textures can't really live up to that too close. But still, really cool unit. I'd be curious to see if Death Hags are still good on foot, because on foot, they lose the Chariot ability, basically, which is what this thing turns into. I believe they also lose Terror. They may actually lose Fear, too. I honestly don't know. But this is just such a good unit that can grant Rampage to allied units, which is a really cool buff. Really cool hero unit of the Dark Elves. Behind those, we have those 3 Dark Shards with the shields, Reaper, Bolt Thrower behind those. And then over here, we have a Black Arc Corsair, and then 2 Bleak Swords kind of, I guess, in reserve, judging by how the formation is. And that's going to be the Dark Elves. For the Skaven, they have a front line of clan... Well, the center is going to be held by clan rats with spears. Over here, there's going to be a Skaven slave here, and on this side, there are a total of 3 clan rats, the sword version, 1 over here, 2 over there. They also brought 3 of the Doom Wheels, which are the really good chariots, considered artillery with the Zap cannons. Those things are awesome. I really love the Doom Wheels. Speaking about artillery, they also brought 2 Plague Claw catapults. All of the artillery for the Skaven, I think, is great. Just really good and solid artillery. Leadership for this one's going to be manned by Lord Skralk, which for a caster is a pretty tough melee fight. Look at that beautiful face. Just Such a beautiful face. For the spells that they brought here, they brought their unique they brought their unique plague monk. There we go. Pestilent Birth, which can spawn up to 2 different groups of plague monks, which are the anti-infantry, somewhat squishy, but high damaging units. They also brought the Plague, which is the vortex that stands in one spot. We also have Vermintide, which is the 6 casts of clan rats, and then the Pestilent Breath, which is the wind spell. All of these are really good. On top of that, we have the Aura Pestilence, which lowers melee attack of units around him, and then the map-wide debuff Plague Rash, which is the speed and vigor whenever he is casting. Then, of course, he has Frenzy, Immune to Psychology, and all that stuff. But yeah, so really good for a caster, but still, I don't think they're going to be able to hold up against most of the other melee-specific lores. But still, I think Lord Skrulk is a really cool legendary lord. Then over here to finish off their units here, we have a Hell Pit Abomination, which is really good. That's all I have to say. You've seen it before. And that's going to be the Skaven army. So, let's get down to the battle. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be sending my very small elite force over against the Lizardmen. I think it is made to try and kill them specifically, although the 3 Sword Masters of Hoeth can definitely do wonders against the Skaven's units as well. The thing is, though, this is going to suffer from having to run towards the enemy without any artillery support, and if the enemy brings like 2 Plague Claw catapults, that could really mess up your Sword Masters of Hoeth really early on, and we need all of them to survive. So right here, I'm trying to get into the forest because I don't believe the Horned ones have any. Though they don't want to fight in the forest. I believe the dinosaurs are immune to the forest penalties, but I'm pretty sure the Horned ones in the other cavern not. Sending the Flamespire Phoenix to try and harass some of these Bastiladons as we're trying to chase down this Temple Guard over here with our Sword Masters of Hoeth. And trying to adjust my formation to make sure that our Phoenix Guard are going to watch the backs of the Swordsmen, because you can see the Horned ones are over here. We have the Revivification Crystal Bastiladon. And then the Carnosaur is going to be coming around as well. Sending our Lore Master, we're going to try and keep all of our heroes in one nice group because they do a lot of damage. There goes the first of our heal spells. The other goal of this is to try and keep all of our health above 50% so we can keep that High Elf Martial Prowess on to try and keep our stats as high as possible. You can see that this Swordmaster Hoeth is going to get Stand Your Ground, and I think they get False Protection here, or not False Protection, the others, Harmonic Convergence. I think I guess that. But over here we have a very good charge from the whole ones onto our Swordmaster Hoeth. Actually, they get the Harmonic Convergence, yes. I'm trying to make sure that they can withstand to these Horned ones. Meanwhile, the Saurus is going to charge right through our heroes, trying to chase them down with the Phoenix Guard. And again, we're going to try and keep our health up above 50%. Stick our Nobles and Tyrion on any large creature that we can reach. That was a pretty cool animation right there. That poor High Elf. Oh my god, that poor High Elf is still just... Oh my god. Stop it, please. Horn ones are going to do repeating charges onto our Swordmaster of Hoeth, which is a very good target for them to charge into. They're going to bring their health below 50%, so they're going to lose their martial prowess. We're going to try and chase them down with the Flamespire Phoenix, who I had to pull away from the Bastiladons because I needed the support over here to try and kill these cold ones. And again, we're going to try and get on the Saurus Old Blood with Tyrion and our 2 Nobles who are specifically anti-large armor piercers. And you can see that these Swordmaster Hoeth are actually going to rout, which is unfortunate, but they are not going to rout off the field. I believe at this point we have cast a second heal spell. Again, try and keep our health above 50%. Flamespire Phoenix is going to be chasing these Horned ones back in as they're going to try and do another rear charge on our Swordmasters here and our Swordmasters here. They have taken a beating because of these Horned ones, but our Hero Core and the Phoenix Guard are still doing strong. Swordmaster Hoeth are getting some decent damage done to these Temple Guard as well. There goes another heal spell to try and keep our health up. Nice other rear charge from these Horned ones here. Trying to cut off these Horned ones here with the Phoenix Guard, as you can see right over there. And just chasing down this Saurus Old Blood with our heroes, trying to do as much damage to them as we can. But they are going to have the support of the Revivification Crystal Bastiladon, which is somewhere nearby. I think they're right here. Flamespire Phoenix, again, chasing down the Horned ones, doing what kind of damage that we can. The Armor Piercing is going to assist against their very high armor. Leadership still on the Saurus Old Blood, and you can see that now that we have the pin down between our Nobles and our Phoenix Guard, the Saurus Old Blood is just getting murdered. And so the enemy is going to try and pull them out, which is a good call. At this point, most of my Swordmasters have taken a huge amount of damage. This one is going to be routing, I think, for a second time. This one is below 50%, so they are having a rough time. I had to cast Harmonic Convergence on them to try and fight off those Horned ones. My Flamespire Phoenix is going to try and chase the Saurus Old Blood off the map at this point, and we're going to try to redouble our efforts at killing these Bastiladons. First with surrounding this one. Getting our Swordmaster Hoeth back in here, we need to try and keep them around our anti-large units like the Phoenix Guard and our Nobles. And here goes another rear charge from the Horned Cold ones, doing a lot of damage to our Swordmaster of Hoeth. We're going to try and counter that with another heal spell from our Lore Master of Hoeth. And you can see right here, I was chasing the Soros Oldblood, but they got this Bastiladon on my Flamespire Phoenix while I was microing here. And because of that, we're not going to get the Soros Oldblood off the map. So I'm going to try and get him off again, but they are getting their leadership back at this point. You see the horned ones pulling out once again. So we're going to try and surround what Bastiladon is in combat, which right now is going to be this one. They're just kind of exchanging turns with the Bastiladons. I'm assuming they're trying to buy time for the Revivification Crystal to come up and heal them again. I'm going to have to disengage from the Soros Oldblood because in a 1v1, the Flamespire Phoenix is most likely going to lose, even though they have little hit points left. So we're going to once again stick them onto the horned ones here. And do one charge of the bomb. I'm saving our charges in hopes that we win because I know that the Skaven and the Dark Elves have a lot of infantry. And against the Simple Guard and the Cold ones, I don't think the Flamespire Phoenix bombs are going to do that much, so I'm just kind of mostly saving them in hopes that we win this. And it's looking pretty good for us right now. Our heroes are also basically topped health. Our Phoenix Guard is still looking pretty good right over here. And we do still have 2 Swordmasters to hold with, even though they are very low in hit points. So the Soros Oldblood's going to come back along with another Bastiladon, so we're going to try and surround them again with our Nobles. So they're going to run out and run in the Revivification Crystal Bastiladon, so I'm like, okay, let's just fight this one. I believe I'm getting some more Swordmasters in that routed over here into this forest, and they're going to get charged by these horned ones again. Trying to make sure that the combat is in the forest. But we are going to get a charge there. I think I'm going to send my Flamespire Phoenix out here soon. Moving out. Doing a lot of good damage to this Bastiladon with the Revivification Crystal. Going to be cut off from the Soros Oldblood again. So we're going to try and assign our heroes to try and bring that down. You can see we do a lot of damage there with our 2 Nobles with their halberds. And there is going to get the chain rout and the shatter of the Lizardman army. So our Flamespire Phoenix below half health. Our Swordmasters of Hoeth have taken a beating. We only have 2 left of the 3. Actually, no, I guess we have all 3, don't we? This one actually does come back. Our Phoenix Guard is still above 50% with all the heals that we have given them. They're just so tanky. And then our Hero Squad, the core Hero Squad, is still fine. They have just taken a lot of healing, so they are just perfectly okay and charging across the field. So let's go see what happened with the Dark Elves and the Skaven at this point. Probably going to mostly stay close to the field here. So we watch this exchange of artillery fire. The play call catapults. I just can't say enough how good this Skaven artillery is. Because these, for trebuchets, they seem really accurate. I mean, that's what they basically are. They're basically trebuchets, but good God, they are really good. A lot better than Bretonians. Trebuchets, that is. At least I feel like they are. Like, look at the damage you've already done to that Dark Shard. Unfortunately, that Hydra's breath kind of missed for the most part. Doomwheel's going to do a lot of good damage here on these Dread Swords. Or, sorry, Dread Spears. Just and all through all 3 of them. And then I believe they're going to go into these Dark Shards back there. We're just going to be holding up the middle against these Clan Rats for the most part, as the Hellbit Abomination is going to be fighting against 2 Dread Spears. And doing a lot of good damage too, considering these are anti-large units. They're not really going to do too much against that Abomination. And again, for the most part, I believe the Hydra's just going to be kind of sitting around here dealing with Clan Rats. The Death Hag did chariot their way through into some Clan Rats over there as well. They're going to be taking some damage from the Spear Clan Rats there. And the front line of the Dread Spears, for the most part, has been routed temporarily. They will come back, but they have taken a massive amount of damage because of these Doom Wheels. Which I believe 2 of them are over here, or 2 of them over there. Where's the third one? See these 2. There are 3. There's the third one coming over here now. 3 Doom Wheels is very scary. Luckily for the Dark Elf, they're not using this one right now as a chariot. They're just kind of sitting there in melee, which is still pretty good in melee. You can see these Dread Spears have been surrounded by the Skaven Horde, and they are just slowly being destroyed. Warhydra's going to be joining the fight over here to try and assist these Dread Spears against the Hellpit Abomination. And the Death Hag is going to be joining as well. There goes some Clan Rats being spawned by Lord Skrock that are going to be getting into these Dark Shards. Which have already suffered a lot of damage. The Play Call Catapults, the Summoned Clan Rats, the Doom Wheels in there. A lot of damage to those 4 Dark Shards. Meanwhile, the Dreadlord is going to be over here trying to rout the Clan Rats that are against their Dread Spears. Hydra's going to pull away from the Hellpit Abomination and once again engage against some Clan Rats. The Hellpit Abomination was chasing off the Dread Spears, and I believe it does some damage to the Death Hag? Can't remember. What up, Skrock? Two chariots going at it. A sight to behold. Yeah, like the Hydra and the Dreadlord just holding it down over here near the artillery. Although I think he may be routing right now. Yeah, they are actually routing. They will come back. The Hydra, that is. Lord Skrull going to do some good damage against the Chariot. Meanwhile, we did miss a Pestilence Vortex spell there. It did clip these Bleak Swords temporarily. You can see that they did manage to rout off one of the Doom Wheels. There are still two left. One fresh. I think the other one at this point is taking a lot of damage, though. Yeah, there it is. It is near death. But unfortunately for them, the Plague Claw Catapults are still operational and still dealing out a lot of damage to the Dark Shards over there. Hydra is going to come back from routing over here and then is eventually going to be fighting against the Self-Pit Abomination after it rout some of these Clan Rats. And you can see the Chariot Death Hag is getting double teamed right there, but it does survive this encounter, I believe. These play call catapults, like, you really need to shut them down. It's done so much good damage against the Dark Elves backline there. So back there, the War Hydra is engaging against the Helping Abomination. I'll let you guess who wins that one. Over here, Lord Skrull is going to be, can't remember if they're routed off the field from this combat, but they do take a lot of damage from this dragon, as you can see there. Again, they are not really built, Lord Skrull, that is built to withstand this type of melee combat. Even though their attack is pretty good. Not very tanky. And there you go, you can see that he is just on the edge of death. I think it's at this time the Hydra is about to rout. Because the Helping Abomination is an anti-large focus unit, the Hydra is not. It does still do a lot of damage, but it is not really built to take on the Helping Abomination. Especially when it has such low health right now. There are some unique large creature animations, but I have not seen one myself, but they are in the game. Where like large creatures have animations against each other. So when the Hydra routes, that is going to signal mostly a chain route for the rest of the Dark Elf army, although the Lord, the Dreadlord that is going to stay put for a while longer, and I think they managed to route both of these play call catapults. But yeah, the rest of her army is running to the hills. Okay, except for these units, which I lied about. But they soon will be running to the hills when this tomb wheel reaches them and these plague monks that were summoned. And there they go. The rest of the Dark Elf army is in a rout besides the Dreadlord, which is going to be sticking around for a while. But you can see that they did manage to rout off the play call catapults, which is good for me. And here is my Flamespire Phoenix. I'm going to take advantage of the Skaven's victory here by congratulating them with shots of my bombs from the Flamespire. Let's go. Although really, I guess this is a waste because that's a summon Plague Monk. Although I didn't realize that at the time. Then we're going to move on to these Clan Rats up here. We're going to get zapped by the Doom Wheels for our, them trying to shoot us out of the sky. The rest of my army is all infantry, so they are moving slowly across the battlefield. So I'm just taking this time to weaken the Skaven's front lines before we meet. So there is a moment of delay from when you click the bomb to when it drops. So you gotta kind of time it. There's about a second delay. It's not immediate. Maybe not a second, maybe almost a second. It's noticeable. Gonna try and do some quick charge damage over here on these Doom Wheels, because they are a huge threat to my all infantry based army. But then I'm going to disengage from this fight soonish. I think I do one more charge. And then I'm going to try and drop more bombs over here on the clan rats that are sitting around their Hell Pit Abomination. Meanwhile, the Dreadlord is going to try and snipe my forces. Probably a good call, considering I am in first place right now. I am not far enough ahead to guarantee a win. If I lose, and I'm not the last person standing bonus will most likely put someone above me. So it's definitely not a victory yet. Although I am in first. But that can change. So yeah, the Dreadlord is going to start targeting these Swordmasters of Hoth who are out of formation. I see that coming, so we're going to pull back. But it is going to lift back off. Meanwhile, over here, my Flamespire Phoenix is just dropping more bombs on these clan rats. You can see we have them almost routing. Doing good damage to these clan rats, and there we go, they're going to shatter. And these ones, I believe, route off the field as well. So those are two units we don't have to worry about. I'm going to try and nail these as well. And I think I may be out of bombs. Maybe I have one more. And there we go. I'm pretty sure I've used all my bombs. Still getting hounded by the Dreadlord as we get ready to fight what remains of the Skaven. You can see they're putting their troops back on the play call catapults over there. And they're going to be engaging against our heroes over here. But our heroes, for the most part, are anti-large or just deal a lot of damage. Well, it sucks when that happens, though. Going to try and pin down the Doom Wheels with our Flamespire Phoenix as we get our Phoenix Guard in there. Hell Pit Abomination is going to be going after heroes. Our Noble. There goes another heal spell. Oh, well, we're going to have to cast it again because we just got knocked on the ground. There it goes. And now my two nobles, Tyrion and the Lore Master, are going to be ganging up on the Hell Pit Abomination. Two of them do bonus versus anti-large, or well, versus large, and Tyrion just is a beast, so it just does a lot of damage in general. Meanwhile, the Dreadlord did go over there to reroute the play call catapult, which thank you for that, because that would have been a huge damage dealer to this very clumped up infantry, so I appreciate that. And you see our heroes, for the most part, still doing pretty well. Hell Pit Abomination is going to shatter, which leads to a shatter of the rest of the Skaven. Now all we have is a Dreadlord, which is so far behind me that at this point we basically win. Though the Dreadlord is going to do some cycle charging over here to, I don't know, try and get as much damage as they can. I'm going to stick around the forest. They cycle charge again. They're going to pull out again. Go back in the forest. They should have just attacked my Flamespire Phoenix in the air. Is what they should have done if they wanted to do some good damage. There we go. They finally stay in there for the last little bit, and that is going to be a victory for Tyrion and his very small elite force, nobles and lore masters. So it worked this time, but this build definitely has weaknesses. Range weaknesses, artillery weaknesses, vortex spell stacking weaknesses. A lot of weaknesses, but I think it's still a pretty cool build. Basically, to counter the vortex, all you have is the lore master's aura of 22% magical resistance. I mean, that's not that much if multiple vortexes are being dropped, or like Flock of Dooms being dropped on your entire army, because, again, a lot of weaknesses, but we managed to pull out this time. So I was pretty happy that it worked in this four-person free-for-all. For the Lizards, their simple guards were kind of outclassed by the Swordmasters of Hoeth, but the Horned ones did a lot of good damage to my Swordmasters, a lot of good charges there. Bastiladons did a lot of good damage to the Swordmasters of Hoeth as well, and the Revivification Crystal, I'm sure, did work. Soros Old Blood was not really set up to engage this type of battle. They are an anti-large damage dealer. They still do a lot of good damage, but their main focus of that unit is to kind of snipe large heroes, or heroes like on horses, which again is exactly why I did not bring any of them on horses, because it just makes it easier for Krokar or this character to kill me, basically. And it would have been really bad here against 3 Temple Guards. My god. My nobles and Tyrion would have probably been crushed with all this anti-large. For the Dark Elves, the heroes did really well, or Lord and hero did really well. The front line and infantry kind of got crushed for the most part to the Skaven Horde, and their play call catapults were crushing the Dark Shards. Reaper Bothora got 15 kills, War Hydra managed to get 82. And then for the Skaven, their front line of meat shields did exactly what they're supposed to do. The damage here, though, 3 Doom Wheels and the play call. Holy crap. This is why the infantry-focused build of this Dark Elf did not fare too well, because all of these are so good at killing infantry. So yeah, and then this sniped out the Hydra. Hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody. Let's go watch the cinematic view of this fight. These badasses.
Very well. Immediately.
Loyal!
I go.
Usher and fast! For Lothern!
Agreed.
Orders understood! We got weapons ready! Usher, forward! Serve the king!
I shall.
Look at these heroes here in the way.
By Assyrian.
Attack! Had I been great!
Bold one.
So much screen shake. So many large creatures.
Immediately. Alaria.
Right away!
The greater good.
Usher and fast!
Victory awaits.
Oh, these damned horn ones were such a pain.
Doing my duty. Happy to serve.
Apace! For our ancestors!
The screen shake is so real, my god. These damn dinos.
Attack.
Lackey! Warrior!
Orders received.
Moving out!
Attack.
Done! It is done!
To battle.
For the king!
Valkwan.
Nothing, Lecky!
Victory
Yeah, that is not me
awaits.
going up and down.
Annihilate them.
Elfry Harathoi!
By Assyrian.
Assyrian guides us!
Striking forth.
Agreed!
I shall. battle of one! Destroy them!
Purifier!
For my lady, Sinah! Tireless!
Oh, I guess they routed.
Advance!
Oh, these badasses. Tyrion's like, I don't need a horse.
Doing my duty!
You know, I didn't think I would like the High Elves as much as I do, but I really do. Like, I may like them more than Skaven, and that's... I didn't think that would happen.
Victory awaits!
Like, I really love this lore master. I think he's such a cool character. Tyrion is such a beast. The nobles are really cool. I don't know, they're just really cool. Guess we kind of saw that earlier. What's the Dreadlord up to? That Flamespire Phoenix just doesn't shut up, does it? I just kind of noticed. Psych? I guess this is when they circle around to try and kill me.
Agreed! I go! Battle awaits!
Well, where the heck am I? Oh, there we go.
As you say! Moving on! Doing my duty!
A little worse than pigeons being above you.
Right away! Done! Annihilate them! Excellent! Atur Danan! Become heal Kate!
To victory!
We go!
That thing is freaking out.
Quickly now!
Annihilate them! Agreed! Destroy them! We go!
Black Eye!
China! By Assyria! Very well. Understood.
And that's basically the battle. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed.
Tireless.
Like, what even was that?
Alariel. Henry Harathai.
Yeah, I will see you all next time, everybody. This is a fun build. These heroes are pretty cool.
I shall.
Take care, everyone.